when the tones drop. All around the United States, everyday people put their lives on the line and leave their homes, their families, and their jobs to provide a service for their communities. The volunteer and call fire service is in trouble. Membership is shrinking. This podcast is hosted by me, Nick Hilton, and my good friend, Paul Ballantyne. We were exposed to the fire service from the days we were born. We grew up together watching our fathers dedicate thousands of hours to the fire service. Today, we each serve as volunteer fire officers on a successful combination department in southern Maine. Our goal is to provide solutions to common problems in volunteer, call, and combination fire departments all across the country.
Brotherhood Academy with Nick and Paul. Brotherhood Academy. Enjoy the show. Brotherhood Academy Radio. They've been friends since they were in diapers, so they have the same heart to beat. Volunteer firefighters. Brotherhood Academy. Fighting for a dying breed. Brotherhood Academy. Brotherhood Academy. Brotherhood Academy Radio.
Friends, welcome back to the Brotherhood Academy Radio podcast. I am your host today, Nick Hilton, and I'm going to do another solo episode. And this topic is going to be something that I had recently done a blog post on, and it was a big hit. And I think that it's a good opportunity to kind of voice it here on a podcast instead of on a blog for those who would rather hear it. If you're driving down the road or you're working out or something, this is an opportunity to get my point across and hopefully get you guys to maybe think a little bit about what you're doing on the incident scene. And that topic is called How the Incident Commander Can Keep Members Invested. So from the chief to the firefighters, each and every one of us has a duty to provide their piece of the complicated puzzle known as membership retention. There's a lot of pieces to this puzzle, and one of the pieces is how we handle certain things on the scene as incident commanders. You know, we should all be making sure the time we are spending away from our family and our jobs is not wasted. And I think that a lot of time is wasted when certain things are done a certain way, such as what I'm going to explain here. So I guess we can just get right into it. And the very first one was, don't be so quick to turn responding companies around. And what I mean by this is, if you're on scene of a call, say it's a fire alarm activation or it was a reported vehicle fire or something, and you get there and it's under control and it's not something you need everybody to be responding lights and sirens to, and you feel like you want to immediately turn everybody around. Think about that for a second. Most of us are volunteers or paid on call, and we've dropped everything we're doing to respond to the station or direct to the scene, such as leaving our families, leaving our jobs, leaving, mowing the lawn. But we're dropping everything and we're going to these calls. So we take that time, we waste our gas, or I shouldn't say waste, but we use our own personal gas to get to the station. We get on the truck, we load it up, and we start heading to that call. And then boom, we're under control. You can return everybody. Great. Well, there goes that dinner I was just grilling. There goes that steak. Now it's going to be all cold when I get home, right? Was it worth leaving? Some people these days may not think it was worth it. And that may be a big problem of why we do not have the numbers of people showing up to calls these days. That could be one of the reasons. There's many other reasons, but these are some things that we can control. Don't be so quick to turn these companies around. Keep them coming. Now, obviously, there's factors that come into play. For example, if you're out on an interstate and you don't want to tie up multiple rigs out on an interstate and put them at risk, you know what I mean? Maybe as a blocker, yeah, that's great, but there are some times where you don't really necessarily want to keep everybody coming because the risk may outweigh the benefit. But I think the benefit here on most calls is incredible. All right. Think of the training opportunities that can be done if you have members on the scene of a call that's well under control. And that leads into the next point. Find opportunities to teach. What training opportunities exist on a fire ground? Have you ever stopped to think about this? What can be taught even at the simplest of calls? Some examples are resetting a fire alarm system, dressing the hydrant, thermal imagers, the tools that we have, throwing and stowing ladders. Drivers and operators get an opportunity to set up the aerial device, position their apparatus where it should be, learning where the hydrants are, learning where the standpipe connections are, learning where the fire department connections are. All those different things can be done on a simple call that's well under control. So there's one big, huge reason to keep everybody coming. The next point that I have is let the company officers do their thing. Nobody wants to be micromanaged at an incident. As incident commanders, we should be focusing on the overall picture and allowing the company officers to do what they're trained to do. This tactic of empowerment allows our officers to become invested in the incident. Keep them invested. Keep everybody that's there invested. And by allowing your officers to do what they're trained to do and do what they know to do and do what their job is, and you stepping back is going to benefit them, and it's going to benefit you as the incident commander, because now your hands aren't tied to every single aspect of that call. Your hands are free to look at the bigger picture, to manage the bigger picture, and to trust your company officers to do what they're tasked and what they're trained to do. The next thing on the list is to give praise. This is a very, very simple thing to do. If your members did a good job, let them know. Tell them. If a company officer gave a good size up or a status report, let them know. And a lot of times it's really good to do this in front of a group of people, right? That old quote, praise in public, discipline in private. Let everybody know that so-and-so did an awesome job at a certain task. When you get back to the station, tell everybody what they did that was excellent. Now, it's also a perfect opportunity to do a little bit of a critique of the incident. Not so much pick apart what everybody might have done wrong, but to get a little bit of input from everybody that what could have been done a little bit better. But give praise. Don't forget to give praise. And this can be done more than just on the fire scene. This can be done on social media. This can be done with a few pictures of the group of members in front of the truck after a call. Obviously, we don't want to be taking photos of people's property that are destroyed. That's not in good taste at all. But if you take a few photos of your members either working or after the call in a group setting, and that gets posted on your official social media, that's going to make your members feel awesome. That's going to make them feel proud, and they're going to feel involved, and they're going to share that, and they're going to show that off to their friends and family, and that's going to keep them coming back. That's going to make them want to do it again. And furthermore, to go along with giving praise, the last thing on the list is to give gratitude. Thank everybody for showing up. A firefighter who feels valued will come back again and work even harder the next time. We should be showing them how valuable they are. These simple tasks, all of these tasks that I pointed out, can be done without interrupting the flow and management of the incident. And especially when you do it over and over again, they become second nature. It should all be something that's second nature. We shouldn't be thinking about this kind of stuff. We should just be doing it. And if we're all going to be doing this, we're all going to see a huge improvement in the turnout at calls. Again, nobody wants to leave their house and drop what they're doing, leave their family, their dinner, or their jobs if they're allowed to, if they're not going to feel like they're valued and they're not going to have the gratitude and the praise that they deserve. So I hope that this little point helped you all out. It's a short podcast, but I think these things are very important. These are things that we do on our department and things that we're getting better at, and it seems to make a huge difference. So that being said, I'm going to end this podcast, but I want to remind everybody that this information that you're getting right now is free. The only thing that I ask you to do is to share it. Please share it and give it a good rank on iTunes, because the more it's shared and the more ranks and the more comments and reviews that we have, the more people are going to see this. And the more people that see this and hear this, the better our volunteer and paid on call and combination fire service is going to get. We're in trouble, folks. We know that. And it's up to all of us here to make this better and to come up with solutions and to solve this problem. There's so many pieces to the puzzle. There's so many, and I'm here to provide that. But I also need you guys to help me out. So thank you. I appreciate it. And I'll see you, and you'll hear me the next time. Bye-bye.